in the different directions. So what I'm going to do that, let me share my screen first, and then I will explain about each and everything about the NAT. Okay. So just give me 1 more seconds, and then I'll share detail with you all. So let me start. And where is my screen share? I can do that. So you guys let me know if my screen is visible to everyone. Is it? Can someone confirm?
Yes, sir, you are visible.
Thank you so much, Pradeep, for your confirmation. Really appreciate it. So let's start, guys, right? So what is NAT, right? And how this is going to work, right? So we discuss one of the scenario, and based on that scenario, we understand about when my firewall is going to work in this particular mode that is known as the profile mode. And how we can check that we checked in this section. I'll go in the system, and you go in the settings. In this setting, you can check my firewall is working in the policy mode or the profile mode. So earlier we have tested everything in the profile mode. And let me just recap what we have done in the profile mode. So once we go in the profile mode, yesterday we have done the sessions and we discussed about how to create a NAT in the profile mode, right? So in this particular NAT, we see that we have the default option, means every policy if you are going to create, that all policy is going to require your NAT rule. Either you are doing the source NAT, either you are doing destination NAT, but we most talk about the source NAT only. And today also you're going to talk about the source NAT only. So in this section, you can see here, we have this particular kind of the IP pool configuration, and there is two section. One is the use outgoing interface, means whatever the WAN interface IP, right, we have, that is going to act as a NATed IP. And if I talk about NATed IP, means everything is going to NAT on that particular IP address. So that is outgoing interface. So single IP can do the NATing, and how many ports that can handle? That is 60416. But let's suppose you have more than this connection. So this IP is not going to enough for you, and you have to use some other method. Means you have to put more pool of the IP, and that is going to again do the translation. But let's suppose you want to do the one-to-one mapping. Let's suppose you have the 10 PC and you want to do one-to-one mapping, means 10 internal IP and 10 external IP. So how this NAT is going to be happen? So this for required, you have to create the IP pool, dynamic IP pool, and we created a study, and based on that, we understand how this pool-based NATing is going to happen. So that was under the profile base. But this method is not recommended for the any kind of the communications, because you have to do a lot of manual communication. So basically, you have to change your firewall profile to firewall profile mode to the policy mode. How can you change that? You just have to go here and you go in the settings, and here you just make sure you just change it from profile based to policy mode. And this is the recommended way, right? You have to follow always this recommended mode, right, to doing any configuration. So I'll just do that and I click OK. This has been done. All right. So what next? Once I've done this, many features are going to be changed under the policy. Now you can see, if I'm going to create the policy, security policy, you are not going to find any NAT informations. No NAT information. So let's suppose this PC want to go on the internet. This will never going on the internet. See, this lost the communication event. Earlier it was a pinging, but it is not pinging at all. Means I lost my communication. Just 3 packet initiated, but I lost again the connections. So something again goes wrong, and this PC is not able to ping. So what is happening? This PC have the again private IP address. Let me put, this is my original packet. This is my original packet. And I will another block use here. Right, I'll just put in this way to just classification. And this packet basically we known as the translated packet. This having the source IP address. this having a destination IP address, this having a source IP address, this having a destination IP address. Right? And what is my source IP address? In this case, in original packet. So this is my user. They want to might be accessing the internet right now. 8.8.8, Google DNS, might be anything. So I can just go here and put that 172.16.10.10 is my source IP address. They want to go on the Google DNS, that is 8.8.8. Right now you can see it is not happening. So you see, let me show you. So if I try to ping the Google DNS, it is not working. So why it is not working? Because we have the private IP, and if it is trying to go on the internet, they have to do translation on the public IP address. That is not happening right now. So because of this reason, it is not working. So how it is going to work for you? And what we have to do that so that it is going to solve your problem. So we have to do the translation, and that is a source translation this time with the help of the central NAT, or might be another NAT method, which I'm going to discuss. Again, it's going to source NAT only, but the way of doing the NAT is totally different. What we have done in the profile mode. Profile mode, when my firewall was there, means every policy we have to enable NAT. Every policy we have to enable NAT. But if I just convert my firewall in the policy mode, then this is not required. We just create one NAT policy, and this is going to applicable for all kind of transitions based on the source and destination. So this is what we wanted to achieve that, guys. Okay. So let me go and do that. So let me go and do that. So I'll just remove this all, and then let me just go. So what I have to do that here. So I'll simply go and I will again put my source is going to remain same till here. But once it is going to internet, this must be translated on my public IP address. What is my public IP address in this case? We are using 192.168, like this interface public IP address, that is 154. So this is acting as a WAN interface for our connectivity. So this is going to be same thing. So what I have to do that, I just need to do the translation on the same WAN interface IP address, or might be I can take any free IP address to just going to do this translation. So right now I'm going to use the same IP address. Let's suppose I'm going to translate on the 192.168.1.154. It's a private IP address, but we are in the lab, so it is acting as a public because we have the actual internet after virtualization. So this is acting as a WAN transport. Destination is going to be same 8.8.8. So this is your translated packet. What next? So once we have the source IP translation, once we have the destination IP as it is original, so how we can create the policy so it is going to allow the connection, right? And how my source and destination is going to be changed. So this is my translation is happening this section. So let me go and create one of the security policies. So what is happening here? I can just put the name LAN to WAN policy or in to out policy. What is my incoming interface? That is a port 2. So I will go here. Let me drag it here. So I'll just go here and I'll put port 2 is my incoming port. And where it is going, that is your WAN port. What is source address that we already created 172? So I'll go here and put, this is my source trust. So already created. So I'll put it this one. And it is going to ask for a destination. So I'll go here and create my destination. Should be all because we are going to the internet. So we cannot restrict our destination. So I'm putting all. Now it is asking schedule services, application defaults. I'm not going to put anything application. I don't want to put any application. I'll leave everything, URL category, everything, action except. Protocol profile, antivirus, satisfy, all we have done testing. So I'm not going to put anything. I just create the policy LAN to WAN for the all destination, all application, all URL, and action is allowed. But we don't have any NAT. So how can I enable the NAT? So I'll just create this. After creating this policy, even my traffic is not going. Routing already we created. We discussed about that. like static routing already we have done in the network section earlier. So three things is going to require. One of the security policy. One is your routing, that is a static routing already we have done here. You can see we put it this a static route pointing toward the internet, but we don't have any NAT policy. So I will go in this NAT section again. In the policy, if you go here, we have the like you have the central NAT. You can see here central SNAT. So central source NAT, right? So you just click on it, central source NAT, and let me delete this, whatever available here right now. And I'll create from the scratch. Okay. So what I'll do that, I will go here and create the from a scratch. And this time, what is my incoming interface? That is my this one, trust LAN. And where it want to go? That want to go in the WAN. What is my source IP address for which I want to do the NAT translation? That is my 172.16.10.10. So I will go here and just put address. And what is destination address? It could be anything. So I'll put all. So this is your incoming interface, outgoing interface, where traffic is coming, from where traffic is coming, where it want to go, what is the source, where the traffic is coming, what is the destination. And then finally, you want to enable NAT. So you have to enable NAT from here. And this is asking use outgoing interface or dynamic pool. The same thing, what we have done in the profile base. But here we are creating a central, it is going to applicable one time for the all. Let's suppose I have this interface also. 1/3. So I can add 1/3 as well here. So if any traffic is coming from DMG, that is also going to NAT on the same interface. So I don't have to create individually multiple policies here to just create the NAT. It is absolutely right. We can create the policy one by one, or might be I can create one go all policy in the central NAT. So it is going to apply for the all kind of the communication. You guys are getting my point, right? So this is the benefits is going to happen when I'm going to create a central NAT. Mawakina, it's fine for you? You understand what I'm trying to make a point?
Yeah, I'm following you, sir.
Yes. So because of that, I'll just create the NAT. This NAT is here, and I'll just use the outgoing interface for the any protocol, and I'll click enable policy. It's already, I click OK. The moment I will do that, my internet should start working. My internet should start working. Let me see what is happening. Let me check whether what is IP address of this PC. So IP config. Let me ping the gateway 172.16.10.1. So it's reachable. Let me ping 1.1.1. It is not reachable for some reason. Let me check why it is not reachable. 1.1.1. It is not reachable. Let me ping google.com. It is also not reachable. So let me just review the policy. What I have done that. So let me just minimize it. So we created this policy. We are saying that my traffic is coming on this port. That's fine. NAT, any protocol that should be go on this trust, and this is going to be enabled, right? Security policy. Let me review. We are just sending that the policies which is coming from the LAN port to trust. Source address is trust. The subnet is fine, going on the outgoing interface. And that is also okay. There is no problem. Central NAT is also fine. So where is the problem? Why it's not working? Should work without any problem. So there is destination, any LAN port. Okay. And routing also there. Let me go in the system. Feature visibility. Everything is enabled here. Nothing is blocked here as well. Should work, guys. Definitely it should work without any problem. SSL remote, this also fine. Surprising, why it's not working. So let me check something. What I can do that. IP config/all. Let me check what is the configuration. IP config/all. So we have the DNS also. There is no problem. 8.8.8. So let me do one thing. Let me just restart firewalls. Configuration is fine. I don't think anything is missing. Okay. Let me start quickly the firewall. We'll try again.
Okay.
It should work without any problem. Let me try it again. Nosad, how are you? You okay today?
Yes, sir.
All good?
I'm good. Yes.
Forget. So let me try it again. So it will work. Definitely it will work because the configuration is fine. So there is no point it is not working. Just matter of some time. Yeah, see, it is start working without any changes. So this was the firewall issue. Nothing was the configuration issue. So you guys see automatically the firewall start responding. So NAT was absolutely fine. We whatever done the configuration, it was working, but somehow firewall is one not doing the right thing. So I just restarted the firewall and then you can see this is start working perfectly fine. So now I have the central NAT and this central NAT I created that you can see total hit count is also there. So if I just go here and I just go in this policy and session view, you are going to find that whatever traffic is coming, they are getting NAT on this interface. So this is how your source NAT is working based on your single IP address and what is the maximum translation is going to happen. That is for the per IP port basis, that is a 60416. That is the maximum. It's showing 417. That one extra is taken, but it is going to be random port. That all translation means this is random port it's taken, but maximum session is going to created 60416. I'll show the documentation as well so you can understand. So now my NAT is working. Even I go on this particular PC and try to open the Google and any other website, it is going to work because we have done the correct configuration right now. So if I open the Google, it is going to respond me and the page is going to be definitely loaded as well. See, Google website, it's trying to open. Let me try again. Let me ping first google.com. See, Google is responding. So the resolution is happening. So definitely the page is going to open. There is no problem. But somehow it's blocking. It's like now it's page open. So sometime it's happening, right? It's some kind of the virtualization environment. The unexpected behavior might be happen, but you just ignore it, right? Just you focus on the fundamentals. So now you can see, if I just refresh it, I'll find some kind of session is going to happen based on the browsers as well. So see, we have a lot of session available because we are trying to access the destination. And this is based on the ping and HTTP browser as well. So all are getting translated in a single IP address. Okay. So this is fine. Now what I have to do that I will use the another VPC PC also. Let me show you. This is my another PC. If I just go and check the show IP, this is the IP, right? If I try to ping again 1.1.1 from here as well, you are going to get that this is also getting translated on the same IP address. This is another PC, but it is also going to translate it on the same IP address. You can check it. The traffic is going to come from the 1.1 and this is going to be translated on the same IP address. Let me find the source IP. So just find for the 11 and this is also translating on the same IP address. So both addresses are getting translated on the same IP address without any issue because we are using the PAT system, right? If you want to check the CLI, you don't have to log in. This is the best feature in the FortiGate firewall. Just click on the CLI console here and you can get directly CLI here. You can just run the command show system session. What was the command? Get system session info. Session list, right? So you are going to get the NAT information also here. So when we are going to translate from coming from the 11, it is getting NATed on this particular 54. You can say source random port, destination random port also you can see here. If I'm coming for a 10, you're getting still translated on this IP address. So this is the pad scenario where I have the one single IP address where my all translation is happening. But what about central NAT is going to happen for the pool IP address? Means if I create the pool of the IP address, let's suppose I have the 10 users and I have the 10 fixed public IP address, then how translation is going to happen? One-to-one mapping or pool of the mapping. So for that, basically what you have to do that, you just go here in again the policy and go in the central NAT. This time I'm not going to use the PAT. I'm going to use the use dynamic IP pool. So if I click use dynamic IP pool, right, you have the option to create your pool. So how you can create your pool? You can go and create your pool here. And in this option, we have the multiple things. Means we have the overload, we have one-to-one fixed port NAT, port block allocation. So we have to understand each and everything. What is my one-to-one NAT? What is my overload NAT? What is a fixed port NAT? What is a port allocation NAT? So these are the unique things you are going to get it here. Earlier it was not available in any of the firewalls, right? So let's understand one by one. So first thing we understand about our PAT, which is going to use the overload section. Now let's discuss about how we can use the dynamic, and in the dynamic, how we can use the overload concept. And what does means overload concept, right? So guys, if you want to create these pools, dynamic pool, you can create here directly. What I'm just showing, I want to create, I can create directly from here as well. If you don't want to create here, you can just go and create the pool here as well. Here also we have some pool. Let me just delete this one, right? So I just delete this all and I can create from here IP pool as well. And this is also going to use for the NAT only. So I can create directly from the central NAT or I can create the pool here. So let me create the pool here. And the first thing I can create the overload. So this is my source NAT via overload. And by the way, you don't know what is the overload. So you just click it here. You are going to get all definition. Let me show you. You just click the help article and you can see we have the dynamic source NAT IP pool type overload. So what does means overload? So it is clearly showing means one source is going to map with the one destination IP address. Means it's a kind of a dynamic pool. Dynamic IP address means you have to create one of the pool and based on your source IP address, it is going to map external source IP address when it is going to destination IP address. So you can just see the definition. It is written here. This type of the IP pool is similar to static yes NAT mode. Means you have to do the one-to-one mapping, but you don't have to create one-to-one mapping. You just have to define the external IP address in a pool, internal IP address in a pool. And once user is going to come, once they find the free IP address, they are going to go to the internet. Let me tell in this way. Let's suppose you in company, let me put in this way. Let's suppose your company have this IP address 172.16.10.10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. They want to go on the internet. So you just have to map on the one-to-one IP address like 192.168, 1 dot might be 154, 155, 156, 157, 158 like that. If any new user is going to come and this IP is not free here, he will not going to access the internet. So this is the same thing they are written here. This type is the pool similar to the static NAT. We need to define an external IP range that contains one or more IP address, right? And when there is only one IP address is almost the same static NAT outgoing interface address is used. Means if you are going to use a single IP address, it is just similar to your PAT, whatever you have done that. But if you are going to use a multiple IP address, it is going to give the extended. Why extended? Because one IP or any single IP can have a maximum number of the port is 416. So if you have the many user in the LAN and you are just using the one interface IP address, so what is going to happen? They can maximum create a session to 60416. If the session is going to exceed that number, the connection is not going to be cut by the firewall. So to address those problems, you just have to use the overload feature in the FortiGate firewall, and you can give the pool of the IP address And based on the given the pool of the IP address, different source, different LAN is going to come. They will utilize the maximum number of port. Means you have the 5 external IP, you can just multiply with the 416. Whatever number is going to come, that is going to be your actual session is going to be created for the any communication. So this is the same thing. It is written here. For instance, we define the overload IP pool 2 external IP address, that is this one and this one. Then what is going to happen? Since there are 60416 available port number per IP, this IP pool can handle double of this internal IP address translation for the same services. So that's why we can use the overload pool. So just it is going to extension of the your PAT address translation, where you're going to get more addresses to just make sure you have the right translation. So they are showing some kind of calculation here and all, and finally you're going to find the configuration as well. You can see here. They are doing the sample configuration for the overload. So let me do that one. So I'll just go here and just create the overload policy. And I'll use the 2 IP address. Let me just check what is a free IP address. So one is the 192.168.1.155 I'll take. This is free. And one is the 156. So that is also free.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Nosad.
Yeah, sir. Actually, port number which is defined. So, in the range of port means any particular private port are different and public port are different. Yeah, only for same port use both end.
Means you see port, we have the predefined. There is no private and public port, right? First thing you have to take in mind, right? There is no private and public port. What is that? Means what does mean the port maximum port connections? So whenever you're just going to use any IP for the NAT translation, right? They can handle maximum number of the sessions 60416, means that much port connection is going to be happen.
From 1 to till now.
Yes,
Till okay,
1 to 60416.
okay, 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 okay. So
If you're going to exceed,
these
let's suppose,
number of port
yes,
will according to define on the based on IP address.
yes. So if you have the one IP and let's suppose you have the 10,000 user, right?
Yes,
And all are going to create 6 port connections. So they can create already going to reach the 60,000, right?
yes,
So if new user is going to come and they want to access some ports, there is no port available. So how can make the translation? Not possible, right?
yes, sir.
So that's why we have to increase the pool IP address. So if we add the more IP, then more port range is going to be increased. That's why we use the overload. So how can we do that? I just go here in the policy. After going in policy, I just find a 2 IP address. Earlier I was having a single IP address. That is my WAN IP address. But right now I'm going to take 2 IP address. One, my IP address is going to be 156 and one is 155. And I'll just go in this firewall and put the range here. This is my 2 external IP address, 192.168.1.155, and I can put 192.168.1.156. Okay, so I believe, yeah, so you just have to put dash, and if you want to not reply the ARP, then you can just block it, and this is done. So I just created no NAT 64 is required, so I created. So now see this pool I created. I can create this pool from central NAT as well, but now I created here. So now you can think about earlier, if this LAN was going, they can use a single IP address and they can do the maximum port level communication 60416. But now I have 2 IP address. So the port range has been extended. So if they're going to make the 1,20,000 kind of the connections, port connections, still they are not going to be any issue. So let me do this particular configuration. So I'll go here. I simply go in the user dynamic and I'll go here and I'll use this overload, right? Simply I go and use the overload. That is my done. So if I click OK, my internet connection must be there. Let me show you. See, one packet has been dropped, but still I have the internet connections. And let me go on this PC also. Let me try this PC also. See, this is also going to work without any problem. This is also pinging, right? But if I'm going on this particular firewall this time, and if I'm going in the dashboard sessions, so I have two source IP address. One is coming 10. See, this is getting translated on the 55, and this is getting translated. Let me find the new logs. So let me filter. It's the old log. It's showing sequence is wrong. So let me find the source here. So I'll go and add the filter source IP address. So 10. See? So now it is translating on 155 current traffic, and we done the same thing. And if I go for the 11, let me put it the 11, it is getting translated on 56. So my port and IP range also changed. Means IP definitely going to change. Whatever the IP is going to come, it is going to be automatic change. But port range is also going to be extended. So new like source getting to new IP of the destination is available, but the extension of port is going to be increased. That is known as the overload. Is it clear, guys? Everyone understand this concept? What is the PAT and what is overload, right? Let me stop this recording. Now we have the another type of NAT. That is, we have the concept is the, let me go here in policy, security policy. If I go again here and central policy, and if I just go here, if I just use the dynamic IP and pool only, so overload is one feature. But if I want to create, we have few more feature. That is the one-to-one NAT. So what is the one-to-one NAT and what is the overload? So overload, we understand it is going to give the more port. So let me go again in the IP pool, and I can create one of the pool, and this time I'll use the one-to-one. But what is the one-to-one and why we use the one-to-one? That is the most important thing we have to understand. Okay. So one-to-one NAT, if I just talk about, so this type NAT is like, it is going to map your internal IP address to external IP address. One-to-one mapping means if this PC is coming and want to go on the internet, so you can just think about this way. This 192.168, sorry, this is not 172.16.10.10. If this is my source IP address, want to go in a destination, I can use the any IP address like 157. So this is 1-to-1 mapping. Means all our communication, whatever it is going to happen till like any port, right? 60416. This is going to happen on this particular kind of the session. Means no other IP is going to come in a picture. Another IP 172.16.10.10 is 11 is coming. This is going to be might be 192.168.1.158. This is again 1-to-1. Let's suppose we have another IP address 16.10.10.12. Let's suppose this VIOS. So let me open this one also. So let me go here. This is going to come. Then we have again here, and I can just put 192.168.1.159. This is again one-to-one mapping. So every IP is going to get the single public IP for the mapping. So it is not recommended, guys, unless you have the requirement, because you are going to kill a lot of IP address for this mapping. And IP address getting from the INA is not easy. You have to pay the charges, right? And you cannot ask any n number of the IPs to use for your internal network, because whole world is required this IP addressing. So you have to very careful for this mapping and asking the IP address. But there is a feature you can do that for a small network, but large network you just have to use another way. Like either dynamic pool you have to create, or might be the port address transfer, then it is going to work. So let me create one-to-one NAT.
Sir, so can we map private IP address into public via whole subnet? It is possible. Like for example, you define 10.12 and we need to map only for third octet is 0. So is it possible to
No,
map?
it's a one-to-one map means you just have to do one-to-one IP mapping, right?
Okay, okay.
Means one IP can handle, one internal IP can handle only one external IP address, not
Okay,
more
so no
than
need
that.
to fourth octet in 0
Yes,
whenever need to map. So no need,
right.
only need to map public to private
Yes,
one
it
to one,
should be
right?
on to one. You can just check it documentation. Let me show you.
Okay.
You go here, let me show you. So if I go here in documentation officially, if you have some kind of confusion, you can read the documentation. So see what is it written here. The type of the NAT means that the internal IP address and the external IP translation address match one to one. See clear. There is no subnet. The port address translation disable means the PAT is not going to happen. Okay. When
Okay.
using the type up. So example, if you define the one-to-one IP pool, that means two external IP. From here, you just define means any two range is coming from the LAN, they will use either first one this, second one this, and then it will go to the internet. So in our case, we have three IP address, right? You can see
Yes,
because
yes.
you want to give the 1 to 3. So we have to give the 157 to 159 range. Clear, Nosat?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So
Okay.
whatever do that means I'll give the range like 192, 168, 1.157, and then after 192, 168, 1.159. Clear? And I'll click OK. So 3 will come. First will get 157. It will take randomly. You don't have to go in the sequence. But it will take either of 3 IP address. So let me show you right now. Sorry. I have to put here name One-to-One NAT. Okay. So I have done here One-to-One NAT and I'll click OK. And see my NAT has been created. Now I'll go in the policy again. And this time my policy, I will click not in policy. Sorry. I go in central NAT. Sorry, guys. And policy, we don't have provision to define that. And here I'll just delete it. I'll add one-to-one NAT. Okay. So it's dynamic only, but one-to-one NAT, I'll click OK. So my NAT has been done. So let me again see there is one packet loss. Let's see what is going to happen. So now ping is started. And let me go in the VIOS. This also, let me try to ping 8.8.8. And I'll just repeat, might be 10,000 packet. So let me ping it. Control Z-X. It is not going to stop now. Because I put the lot of packet here. Okay, now it's pinging. So leave it ping. Okay. This is also done. Now let me go on this PC. What is happening on this PC? So this also might be pinging. Okay, leave it. It's not working. So we can check in the firewall rule. So let me go in the dashboard, session view, and let me filter first IP address 10, right? So I'll go here and source IP address. I'll select the 10. So which IP it's taking? 57. Clear? It's mapping. Okay, guys.
Yep.
Now let me ping 11. It is taking 58. Clear? One-to-one mapping.
Yes, sir. Yes.
And now let me take the
Wow.
12. So 12 is my router, right? Somehow it lost. How can I stop? I cannot stop it, okay?
Even Control C, it won't stop it.
Yeah, actually, I have Mac, so I don't know how to block. Okay, not working, not stopping. So anyhow, you guys will see that one-to-one mapping, like what you see here, right? If you want to see in the CLI also, so just go here and just run the command get system session list, right? And you're going to see here also means it is coming from your 15 and it is getting on the 54. So this is something new IP address. And some reason there are some disconnection in the network. So that's why it's not working. So we cannot test it. Let me do one thing. Start, stop. Let me reconnect. Okay, let me check the VPC. What is happening on the VPC? And show IP. And let me ping 191.1. Sorry. Let me ping 1.1 here. So I believe firewall again goes in the hung state because a lot of traffic will send it. And this user also not working correctly for some reason. Okay, let me terminate the connection. Oh, so actually we have a lot of sessions. Because of that, it is creating problem. Let me try one more time, guys. So this is the timeout. Leave it, no problem. Let me go here. See, this is pinging, right? This is pinging. There is no problem, and this is working absolutely fine. Let me go on this particular router as well. So router is getting started. So let me check IP, show IP. We have the 11 IP user. Let me go here and CMD IP config. We have 10 IP. So 10, 11, and let me check for this router as well. Okay. So for some reason, this is not able to ping. Why it is not pinging? Yeah, now it's start pinging. Okay. This one also start pinging. So there was some issue, but it start pinging. Let me check the router as well. So I'll just verify the router. It is also going to map on the 59 IP address. Then you're going to understand entire things, how this NAT is working. Absolutely. So let's wait for here. Okay, so let me go here and check that. Show IP interface brief. And this is 13 IP address, right? So not 12, I was checking wrong IP address, should be 13 because I mentioned 12 here. This is 13 configured. So let me check 13 or let me change the IP address 12 first, okay? Then I'll check the 12. The source is wrong, so that was the reason it was not coming. So interface gig 0/0. I'll configure the IP address correctly here. IP address 192, sorry. It is my 172.16.10.12 to 55 to 55 to 55.0, right? I'll put the no shut. So this is done. Let me put the do right. And now I initiate the traffic, okay? And then definitely we'll see the logs also. The third NAT is also going to be there. So my bad, I configured 13 and I just checking for 12. So because of that, there was no. So let me ping 8.8.8 here also. And I'll repeat, might be the 5000 packet. So it is pinging. Let me quickly go here and try it again. Okay. So let me refresh it and see which IP it is natting. Clear? Everyone understand what is one-to-one NAT? And if you go here in this particular CLIO as well, and you run the command again. So you have to run the command gates, system, session list. So you are going to get these all translations. See, 11 is getting translated 58. Probably I believe other session are stopped, but yes, we are going to get definitely all the session detail in the list also. Similar one-to-one, whatever we find in the GUI as well. So this is guys one-to-one NAT. Any doubt or we are clear about it? Let me
Any
know.
doubt?
Prasad, Madan, Pradeep, Mawakina.
Yeah, any doubts, please. I want to ask a question about one-to-one NAT. So it means that one-to-one NAT, the number of the private IP address should be the same as for the public
Yes,
IP address.
absolutely. Great understanding. Absolutely 100% right. Clear?
Okay.
Whatever the private
Yes,
IP
yes,
address
sir, clear now.
that requires the public IP address. Okay, let me stop this recording. Okay. So now we have to discuss about another type of NAT. Now we have to discuss another type of NAT. Where is the firewall? Let me close. So that is my, I'll go again in this particular policy, go in the pool. So one-to-one overload. Now let's create again. And this time we have the fixed port range NAT. What is the fixed port range NAT? That's also very important, okay, to understand. So now last two NAT is a bit confusing, but I'll make your life easy the way I explain. I hope you guys will understand everything. What is the fixed port range? So if I talk about the fixed port range that means, let's suppose I have the IP address, source IP address, and you want to do the PAT. So how the PAT is working? If I have one IP address, sorry, 172.16.10.0, it want to go on the internet, can be translated on 192.168.1.154. This is your private IP address, and this is your public IP address, right? How many ports can maximum have a connections? Tell me, guys. How many maximum port have a connections? Tell me.
60416.
60416. This is the default, right?
Yes.
But I want to give the fixed range of the port. I want to give just 128 port or might be 1000 port. Then it is become the fixed port range. Means whatever translation you want to do from the external IP to internal IP, you want to give the fixed port range. Means one IP is going to get the fixed port range IP address. Let me show you the official documentation as a justification. So you guys can easily understand what I'm trying to make a point. So if you read it here, fixed port range. So it is mentioned here for the overload. We understand overload. That is going to be give the all range, one-to-one IP pool, right? It is also going to give the all port information. We do not need to define the internal IP. Where we have to define both internal and external IP range, since each external IP address and the number of the available port, we need to specify. If the number of internal IP address is also determined, we can calculate the port range for the each address translation combination. So we'll call that fixed port type of range, right? So we just have to calculate. Let's take an example. They are taking about, this is my external IP address. This is my internal IP address. So we have the translation IP plus port combination like following, right? We have this IP and this is my source port and this is my kind of the translated source port and this is my destination. So you can get this kind of the range and all is going to be translated, right? But this is your one IP to another IP, which is have the port range, whatever you're going to define, that is going to happen. So if I go in this firewall, you can see here, I will give the fixed range, right? So in this fixed range, what is going to be happen? I will just go, let me show you. And I will just assign any external IP address. Let's suppose I assign the IP address 192.168.1.156. This range can be single IP address. This range could be the multiple IP address. So if I am going to use a single IP address internal and single IP address of the external, right? So I will get the how many port? 60416 port, right? But if I use the multiple IP address for the external or might be single IP address of the external and multiple IP address for the internal, then my port is going to be equally divided for the all translations. You got my point? So we will get different block. Automatically, the whole block is going to divide it into multiple part. So let me show you. Let's suppose I am going to use a single IP address here. 192.168.1.156. And now I have the internal IP address 172.16.10.10. It will goes to 192.168.10.12. So per port user, you can see, you can define the port also. How many ports? Let's suppose I want to give the per port is like 500, or might be I can give the 1000. So this is my port is going to per port means whenever they go into internet, they will get that much port information. So let me just click it OK. So I can just put the name. Let me fixed port.
Please,
yeah, tell me.
Is it correct? Internal IP range 172.192.
Oh, sorry. My bad. I'm really sorry. Thanks for reminding me. Okay. I just messed up with the IP range. Thanks, Mawakina. So this is done, right? So I just go and click OK. My policy has been done. Now let me go again the central NAT, and I'll go here. And after going, I'll just remove this, and this time I'll use the fixed port range, right? I will go, I can click OK. So probably you'll see that my still communication might be happening. Let me check it again. So this is still going to do the communication. Let me see this user. So see, this is pinging, right? So just check this one, 12, right? So let me say, show the session again here. And just let me find this IP address. So source IP address. Very interesting thing, you're going to get that port range. See, it's 8000 range only. It's not getting the bigger number. You see, because I give the range. Earlier it was a bigger number. Sometime it was taking like, you can see 60,000, 50,000, but it is just taking the number as a less number because we just define the range, and it is also just single IP. So it's just segregated 8000 port for this one. So if I go for the another PC, let me go and check this PC, what is happening. So it is also pinging, right? So this is pinging, and this PC have 10 IP address. So let me go here and change this to I'll make the 10. See, this is also getting translated only. This is old entry, 6000 only, 601. So it's getting, if I have the thousands connection, means 1000 port allocation is going to happen. If I go again for the which one? Let me go on VIOS. VIOS is done. User, let me go. User already test. VPC be pending, right? Let me go on the VPC. VPC have some kind of problem. It's not pinging. Let me VPC, why it is not working? Some issue in the VPC. I don't know what is the issue. So if I let me try to figure out 11. So no coming, but yes, this is how your fixed port NAT is going to work. Is it clear to everyone? You understand what does a fixed port range? Easy?
Yeah.
So we live with the last one, and last one little bit difficult. Okay, so let me stop the recording as well. Last one. So we have discussed last one. So the last one is we have, that is a NAT that define as a port block allocation. And this is little bit confusion, right? And always it is going to give a trouble if you're not good in the NAT. So what is the port block allocation NAT? That also we have to understand. So if I talk about the port block allocation NAT, you can see here, if I just click on this particular create NAT, and here is the option port block allocation. So let me put it here. Port Block Allocation NAT, right? It's again part of the source NAT. We have the external IP and we have the block size as well. And we have the per block, means per blocks per user. So trust me, it is going to be a little bit complex, difficult to understand, but I'll try to myself explain so you can understand. So what is going to happen in this particular type of the port block allocation? Basically, it's type of the PAT. This is also type of the PAT. Means you are going to get the port address translation. But here you are getting more flexibility. Means you are going to allocate the PAT based on the port, based on the users, like how many ports they are going to get, what is the external IP they are going to get. So that's why it is going to give more flexibility to control your external IP and the port that is going to be allocated for the per user, right? What is earlier what happening? Earlier allocation was like when I going to done with the fixed port allocation, it was the fix only, right? Whatever user I have, I just define the port, it will give the fixed allocation. But here I'll define some kind of the definition, that is the block size and the external IP range. And based on that, we can come to know what is the like total user in my network. And based on the one user, how many maximum ports can be allocated and how many minimum internal IP can be handled. So let me go in the documentation and let me explain what does mean. See, if I go in the documentation and if you read about the port block allocation, so see, try to understand, right? It's a little bit mathematics. So this type of the IP pool is also known as the port address translation. This is the same thing I explained. This is the port translation. It is going to give more flexibility to control the way external IP and the port are allocated for the any source IP NAT translation. Okay, this is going to give the flexibility. What else? User need to define the block size, means being the administrator, you have to define per user what is the block size, and what is the block size we'll discuss, right? And block per user means one block size we have. Let's suppose this is my block, one block. So this block, how many I block assigned to single user, that also we have to understand. Means this is going to get one block, it's going to get two block, it's going to get three blocks, it's going to get four block, right? So block size default would be 128. So if I'm going to define 128 one block, then only 128 block size is going to be allocated. And let's understand what is the block size and how many like total port are going to be allocated. Say block size 128, you just divide the total number of ports 60416. This is your port number total is going to get. So this is the same thing they are talking about. User need to define block size per block and external IP range. Block size means how many ports each block contains. This is what means block size means it is going to give how many ports each block is going to contains. So if I block this one, right? So you are going to get this 472 ports, right? Block per user means how many blocks each user can use. This is my user. How many blocks use? If this is using 128 block, how many port? 472 ports. If going to use this one also, add 472 ports. It's going to use this one, add 472 ports. Like that. So this is the same mathematics they have explained here. You can see the examples. We have this IP range, external. Single IP I have for the external IP address. Based on this single IP address, right? You can get this default block size 1 to 8. You can increase, you can decrease. And per user, you are going to 8 block, means 8 into 128. Total port would be just multiply. You are going to get the port, because port we know that to get the port from the block size divided by the total number of port 416, 128. Your block size would total port is 478, 472 per block. So if you have total 8, so just multiply by this, and then you can just multiply 8 into 472, you're going to get total number of the ports, right? Now if I go to move further, so you can see now further they are talking about maximum port can be allocated internal IP address. You can see the same number 128 into 8, and that is going to be 1024, right? And how many internal IP can we handle? So total number of ports divided by total ports, it is going to give the exact number. Or you can do one thing, total number of ports for the block and divide by the block user. That is also going to give the 59. So if I have the single IP address, it is going to give the how many internal IP can handle this block. That is the 59. So same calculation you have to use, right? And based on that same calculation means how many internal IP I have, how can I can get means total number of block, total number of user per block. You can just multiply, you are going to get 1024. And you want to get total internal IP address, then you divide this number with this number, it is going to get this IP. So it's kind of a little bit complicated. You have to a little bit do the mathematics, remember. But in short, it's a PAT. It is just going to give the flexibility. You don't have to use your brain. What you have to do that, it's very simple. Let me come to the policy. Even you go and find the configuration, you are going to get the configuration here. It is going to already done. You can see port blocking. So just go here and define what is my IP address. Let me take one IP address, 192.168. Let me take 159. The range, I'll use the 192.168.1.159. I'll use the block size, this same default one, 8. Then what is going to happen? If I'm going to use this block size, right? Then what is going to be happen? Maximum 59 internal IP. Let me see, I'm making some mistake. Okay, so already I have the entry for this IP address, so it is going to give the duplicate entry. So let me use some free IP address for NAT, or else I have to delete. So let me use 160. It's a free or not? Let me see. It's a free. So let me use 160 because I already used this IP for the other mapping, so it's showing the duplicate entry. Now it's fine. So what is going to happen if I'm going to use a single IP address? So based on this calculation, guys, what is going to be happen if I'm going to do this NAT, fixed port NAT, port block NAT. So one IP address, I leaving the block size this one. If I change the block size, let's suppose I make 256. So if I'm going to make 256, so you can just think about this is the 256. And I'm going to give that per block 10 user, right? So how much calculation is going to happen? 256 into 10. So total number of that is going to happen 256, 0, right? This is the, and then if you want to get the internal IP address, how many internal IP can handle this block size in the port? So you have to go 60416 divided by 2560. And what is the number is going to come? Let me do the calculator. Let me do 60416 divided by 2560. So it's going to give around 23.6. So 23 IP you are going to handle here. Maximum internal user going to be translate based on this calculation. If I'm just going to change the block side as per my need, or I can use the default one, then definitely you can handle the internal IP can be handled through the NAT with this block size, and how many port they are going to get this port. And in this case, how many port are going to happen? So ports are going to be happen if you per user port 40146 divided by 256. So it divide, let me just do that. 60416. I'm doing my own calculator. So 256. It is going to happen. Maximum port would be 236 instead of 412. So this calculation is going to happen. So it's a pretty easy. Just you have to take your mindset about the calculation. Simple calculation. One IP. You divide the whatever the block side and per block user means one block. How many user I can put in the one block? So let's suppose I put the 5 user. So you just have to make sure whatever the block size you have, whatever the user you have, you just multiply it and then you divide the total number of the ports. You will get the internal IP address. And if you want to get how many ports are going to happen, so your block size and total number of ports, then you are going to get how many ports per user are going to get that. So I hope you guys understand. Nasad, Mawakina, Madan, any comment? It's
this one is a bit difficult. We follow the recording and then the Monday we see.
Yes. Nasad, what is your view? Can you tell me, Madan?
Yeah, I understood, but it is bit complicated. So I will want to
No worry, no
learn more.
worry. I'll have a discussion one more round in the next session. Okay. It is
Yeah.
little bit confusion, right? It's a confusing, but we have to understand, right? It's just the
Yeah,
mathematics.
calculation part is easy, but little bit means complicated for the understand
No worry.
to
You
know
can
these.
let me. You can take a snapshot of this document. You just take a snapshot.
Wait.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just take a snapshot and read twice, thrice. You'll get understand and do the lab side. Doing the lab is very easy. Very easy. Just understand this port block allocation might be in the interview they are going to ask. So you should know how to answer.
Yeah, I took, sir.
Okay.
And sir, do one thing means which one is mostly used for net? Which type
That is
net
that is
is used
that is
mostly?
going to use by only your part.
Means overload.
Yes, overload interface list. This is the most common use.
Okay, mostly use of this one
Yes.
only.
This is only going to use 99% time you're going to use. But
Oh,
there are multiple type, you should know this, right?
yeah. For learning purpose, all know.
Yeah, all interview purposes especially.
Yeah,
Want to clear the interview, all type of NAT, FortiGate and Palo Alto. Palo Alto have a NAT, right? You have the source NAT, and source NAT classified is the static. They have the dynamic NAT, right? Means a static NAT, dynamic NAT. This is a one-to-one NAT, and then they have the PAT. Okay. Then they have the destination NAT. Then Palo Alto have the U-turn NAT. And the last one is the dual NAT. So this is the Palo Alto NAT. So if you're giving the Palo Alto interview, this NAT you have to know. But FortiGate, we have the static NAT. This static NAT has the one-to-one NAT. We learn right now, right? They are dynamic NAT, right? Dynamic NAT can be, you can create a overload. Understand, right? Based on the overload, you can map that. And then we have the patch. Then we can use the interface. Then they have the port block allocation, which is understanding. Again, it's a pad, but it's going to give the more flexibility. And then they have the fixed port based NAT. That's again a pad, but they are going to give the more flexibility. And then we have the destination NAT. So you should know per firewall what is the terminologies and how this NAT is going to work. That's why it's very important, guys, to understand multiple vendors, like how they are going to do the NAT and what is the meaning of that doing. So every vendor, they have their own way to do the NAT. Okay.
yeah.
So let me go and do the configuration 5 minutes more. Okay. Then we'll close the session. And simply I will just go here and just go and I will just do here port block allocation SNAT, or you can just put the PAT, right? Same thing. PBA, port block allocation. And I'll use the IP address. What is my IP address? That is 192.168.1.160. 192.168.1.160. I can change the block size if I want, 256. That's absolutely possible. Block user, I can put the 16. More, I put the refine. So less IP is going to be there. Or if you want to use default, you can use default as well. Most of the labs are going to find a default only, but I just do my own research. So that's why I change my port number as well. So now my this policy has been means NAT mapping has been done. Let me go on the policy. I will go here, not here. Central NAT I'll go, and I'll go here, and I will just remove this, and I will just PBA. Okay. I'll click OK. Let me check something I not missed. Yeah, all fine. Okay. Clear? So all done. Let me do have a one testing. So let me go in the user. User is ping. Earlier it was pinging, but now not pinging. Let me see. Let me open a new thing. I don't know why it's not working. Let me go here. Let me run CMD. Let me go on this PC. Let me try from here. Let me see what is happening here. Let me check it again. CMD, let me try to ping 1.1.1. Not pinging. Why? Let me restart the firewall, guys, one more time. It will take quickly few seconds. Oh, I'm suspecting again it's a grading problem. Because the configuration is fine. There's no issue with the configuration. And let me put it here. See, it's start pinging. So such kind of issue is happening. So there is absolute configuration is fine. Now you start pinging. So if I go and log into the firewall again, you are going to get something in the NAT section. You will see that what is the ports range you are going to get. Let me go in the dashboard and go in the 40 session view. And let me just figure out the source, right? It's pinging to this one, and you will see that this is getting this port range, right? That is based on the translation they have allocated. So if I ping another IP address, let me try from the another PC. Let me check from the VPC one more time. This is not working, so leave it. Let me check from the router what is happening for the router. So let me try one more time from VPC. Okay. Show IP. This is my 172.16.10.11, 255, 255, 255, sorry, /24, 172.16.10.1. And let me check it again from here. Ping 8.8.8. Or let me ping 1.1.1, 1.1.1. So they start pinging as well. And if you go here and try to, let me remove this, okay? So see, now it is taking another port and it's very close here. Very close because the range is very less. Probably if you go and define the port range, how many it is going to happen? Let me quickly do the calculation for you all. So let me go here in the pool, right? We define the 256.16, okay? So let me go here in the book, okay? So how much it is going to happen? So here it is a 256 and here 16. So you just simply go here and it is going to divide 60416 divided by 256. And it is going to come as a block size would be 60416 divided by 256. So it's a 236 only. And maximum IP, we can do one thing. We can divide this one divided by 16. So this is 14 maximum IP. Internal IP can be used. So this is my block size here. Okay, so now you can see the translation is still happening, but this translation is happening based on this flexible port address translation, which we have defined it here. If you want to check the, like again, from the gate system session list, you are going to get again, the mapping is going to be happen. and you're going to get all mapping in this list. Clear? See, it is happening on the 160. So I believe we understand about the all type of the source NAT. We have to understand about the destination NAT from the next week. And in the destination NAT, I will explain how the destination NAT is going to happen, what is destination virtual IP group, how it is going to be created in destination NAT. Then we are going to go with the destination NAT as well, but it is going to take a time. So next week we discuss about the destination NAT. Any question, guys, till here?
No, till now it is okay, sir. And sir, one query for different purpose, like for example, in firewall also any kind of a feature to soft restart the process. Yeah, hard reset.
I will tell. Operationally, I'll cover a lot of things later stage. Okay, no, sir. So for operation point of view, I'll cover in one day. Okay, let me finish because if we start talking, it will take longer time. So let's
Okay, 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 okay.
take rest. We'll continue from the next Monday. Okay.
Okay, sir, okay. Then till
Thank
now
you,
it is
guys.
okay, yeah.
Thank you, Mama Kina. Thank you, Madan Nasad, Pradeep, everyone. Bye bye. Take care.
Okay.
Bye.